I'm dreaming morning. I'm streaming all through the day. And when I'm streaming, I know that it's okay. That's a Weezer reference for those of you who don't know. And no, I am not streaming all through the day, but whatever. Just wanted to make that little reference there because the title is similar to a Weezer song I really like. But anyways, enough talk about a band that a lot of people don't like. Hello to people watching this. How are you doing? Hello, Leo. I am doing well. Thank you for asking. Ah, it's been over a month since I streamed, I think. Let me check. Yep, July 16th. Whoa, does time fly? Anyway, it takes a little bit for people to start filing in, so I may as well talk about something so I won't just be sitting here silently just waiting for people to file in. Maybe some of you heard about this. Probably. It's pretty big news right now. OnlyFans is banning NSFW content. Way to spit on and shit on those that made you a $1 billion company. And there probably are plenty of videos on OnlyFans where people are being spit on and shit on, but that's neither here nor there. Ugh. It's just really gross. In this Puritan society, we really do not value sex work like at all. You know, we always malign these people. And I see so many people making fun of the people who make content on OnlyFans, sexually explicit content, on OnlyFans, saying, oh, time for these OnlyFans girls to get a real job. Like, and I see a lot of these people saying this. They're like YouTubers, live streamers. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, you're really not all that different. Like, yeah, you're not taking your clothes off or anything, but still. And I've always hated this. OnlyFans, sex work in general is not real work. Like, there is supply. There is demand for this type of work. There is demand for this type of content. That OnlyFans girls and really people who make porn in general supply. And they make a sustainable enough income to live comfortably off of. How is that not a job? Like, I'm really tired of, the sentiment being popular in the year 2020 fucking one. Like, you have to work a miserable 9 to 5 in order for what you do to make an income to qualify as a quote unquote real job. It's so fucking stupid. You see this a lot with YouTubers too. Oh, these people who make videos, they sit on their ass, make videos, or just sit on their ass and live stream and play video games all day. They should just go get a real job. Like, just because they like doing what they're doing and make money off of it, that doesn't mean what they make an income off of is not a real job. It's so fucking dumb. Hello, Siler Nice. Hello, Sonolianic. Not only 2 people. Wow. I was expecting more people at this point. Yeah, it is dumb. Well, nice to see that you agree. And I see like the justification for this lack of empathy for sex work and all the people who are now inevitably going to get kicked off of OnlyFans because they don't they're not gonna allow adult content anymore, or they will allow adult content, I believe, but it's not sexually explicit content. I see all these people saying, well, porn rots the mind. People get addicted to porn. And hey, it can happen to me. I've been very, very honest, probably more honest than I should be when it comes to that. Porn for a while was a fake source of happiness for me, we'll put it that way. But I'm not going to malign sex workers and sex work in general because that was on me. It's entirely my fault that happened. And I cut back on it. You know, these people who pretend to care about these sorts of issues don't actually care. They just want to fucking smear sex work and sex workers in general. You don't see. Do you blame video game developers for video game addiction? Because that's a real thing too. But I don't see a huge movement, you know, denouncing video game developers and just denouncing video games in general because people get hooked on video games, get addicted to video games because people understand that it's fucking stupid. So why don't we have the same mentality when it comes to sex workers? But bottom line is, sex work is real work. Yeah, there you go. Hello, I'm not funny. There's 3 people watching this. You don't say. Wow, I didn't notice that. Not to be a dick. Hey Mikey, what bands you don't like the most in your opinion? Kiss. There's other bands I really hate. Imagine Dragons. They made videos about bands I don't like. Those are the 2 that pop into my mind right away when I think of bands I don't like. Gonna go watch games now. Bye. Gonna watch a video game. All right, I know what you mean. Well, see, your stay was very, very short. Well, thanks for coming regardless. Hello, Guitar Rocker. We were talking about OnlyFans, or at least I was talking about OnlyFans. I don't think anyone else in the chat really gave a fuck, though. It was really just filler because I was waiting for more people to file in, but we're 7 minutes into this thing and only 3 people are watching. So maybe it'll just be a dead stream. I don't know. What games am I looking forward to for the rest of the year? Oh, what games are you looking for to the rest of the year? I assume you mean looking forward to for the rest of the year. Just recently I beat Spider-Man 2018. I really want to play Miles Morales. I hear a lot of good things about Miles Morales, and I really liked the first game. So I'm looking forward to eventually getting Miles Morales, maybe sometime this year. The GameCube games count because they kind of sort of were not released this year or this past decade, but I do want to get the Star Fox games that were on the GameCube, and I figured, fuck it, I might get Twilight Princess. Maybe not this year, but eventually. I have Twilight Princess, the remake, on the Wii U. Played it a few years ago, back when it came out. I really liked it. But my Wii U is not hooked up right now. It is in my room, but I'm not going to go through the trouble of hooking it up and all that because my PlayStation 5 occupies the HDMI port. And my Switch occupies the other HDMI port on my TV. So I don't want to go through the trouble of constantly switching ports for the consoles. So, and it would be nice to have. It's one of the big titles for the GameCube. It was the last big title for the GameCube. And I'm probably also going to get Breath of the Wild 1. I also have that on the Wii U, but again, don't want to go through the trouble of hooking up my Wii U. And it ran like shit on the Wii U too, so I'd rather play it on the Switch. Because, you know, I would assume it's a lot smoother and not as much of a lag fest as the game was on the Wii U. And plus, since Breath of the Wild 2 is on the horizon, I may as well familiarize myself with the story again. So, because I assume that Breath of the Wild 2 is a direct sequel, picking up where the first game left off. Because last time I played the game was around the time it launched. I barely fucking remember what happened in that game in terms of the story. Last time he did a stream was in January. Yeah, I believe it. It's been a while since you last streamed. The GameCube games you have so far, a lot. Damn, I don't know if I could list all of them off the top of my head. I got Luigi's Mansion. I'm gonna try to go in the order I got these games. I started GameCube collecting this time last year, actually. Like when my grandma was in the hospital. It's already been a year since that time of panic and dread, but not to get morbid here. I got Luigi's Mansion first. Mario Sunshine second, I think. Oh god, it's really hard actually going back and trying to remember the order I got these games in and trying to remember all the games I got because I did get a lot of GameCube games in the past year. Luigi's Mansion, Mario Sunshine. What did I get? I think Metroid Prime, Mario Kart, Resident Evil 4, Mario Kart Double Dash. I mean Resident Evil 4. Fuck it, let's not go in order. Too much mental strain. OG Resident Evil, the remake. Resident Evil 0. Got a shit ton of Resident Evil games on the GameCube. Resident Evil 2 I got just 2 weeks ago. Or around 2 weeks ago, something like that. Metroid Prime Echoes. Metal Gear Solid Twin Snakes. Fuck, I know there's more. Oh my god, I can't believe I'm actually forgetting. But I listed 10 games there, so that's a pretty decent amount of games. Had a burp coming, but it didn't come out. It's weird. Might not be here for long. I'm working on editing a video for someone. Is that streamer person you shared in my server the other night? Luigi's Mansion and Mario Sunshine are amazing. My opinion on Mario Sunshine kind of dipped after playing it a second time. So many infuriating missions, but it's a solid game. Very solid game. I mean, it could be very infuriating, but it can still be fun. Mario Sunshine is better than Mario 64. Well, that's a very hot take, and I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, I played OG 64 on the Wii U a couple of times. Never 100%ed it. I 100%ed the DS version back when I was a kid. Really love the DS version. I should probably play it again. It's been a while since I played the DS version of that game. And I consider it the better version of the game. That's probably a hot take as well. Pretty good collection of GameCube games. Where you get the GameCube games at? A bunch of websites. eBay, a website called DK Oldies. Pretty much wherever I find a good deal on a game. Because GameCube games are expensive as fuck these days. I don't get why Mario 64 is so overhyped. There are some flaws for 64. Well, I mean, that applies to every game, doesn't it? Every game has its share of flaws. I don't know if I would call Mario 64 overhyped. I really do like the game. Again, I like the DS one more than the OG one, but still, good game. Had a lot of fun. Have a lot of nostalgia surrounding the DS version of the game. Mario 64 DS is amazing. Yeah, you play that a lot, right? Sixth generation games are going up in price. Some cost an arm and a leg to get. Oh yeah, like Twilight Princess I mentioned just earlier. Want to get that game on Gamecube, and it costs over $100 fucking. Like, this is the exact price it goes for. $154 fucking dollars, $101. Wii version is $39, 137 used. I'm probably not going to get it in the box and with the manual because it just costs way too damn much. I'm fine with getting the more expensive GameCube games on a just disc only. Like, the original box and the manual are just bonuses for me. So long as I get the disc and the disc works fine, I'm content. I usually just get a fake cover art, or I usually just get the box. It could just not be an official box, just a box with the cover art on it, so I could put the game in it. Beat the game recently. This is why I just play my games on an emulator. Well, enjoy that while you can. Nintendo's been really cracking down on emulation sites lately. Which Nintendo console is the worst, in your opinion? I don't know if any Nintendo console is really bad, unless you count the Virtual Boy, but I just more consider that a failed experiment than like an actual console that Nintendo like put all of its focus into. Because obviously the Virtual Boy was never that. Again, it was just an experiment that failed. But in terms of like actual mainline Nintendo consoles, I don't know. I don't really consider any of them bad. And I haven't played all of them, but I'm not gonna like shit on, say, the NES, because I never played on the NES, and I don't know why the NES came to my mind right there, but yeah. I'm not the biggest fan of 8-bit games. Zoomer moment, I know. And I'm not gonna say the Wii U either. I really liked the Wii U. Had a lot of fun playing that in the early 2010s. I'll defend the Wii U to my dying day. I mean, I know the gamepad was kind of a silly idea. You know, it was kind of clunky and wasn't the most comfortable controller, and it did feel kind of cheap, but I liked the gimmick they were going with there, you know? A lot of games on the Wii U, you could easily just play on the gamepad. And that was cool, because at the time I would play all my games in the living room. And when, say, my uncle wants to watch TV, I could just simply play the game on my gamepad while my uncle was watching TV, and I'm completely undisturbed. And that the Wii was pretty much the blueprint for the Switch. I mean, the Switch kind of sort of has the same gimmick. I mean, not exactly the same, because there were a lot of Wii U games where the gamepad and the TV screen would cooperate with each other, and the Switch doesn't have anything like that. But still, Switch, I mean, it still has the touch screen that you could play your game on. So it kind of has that going for it. And if you're playing your Switch in the living room and someone wants to watch the TV, you could easily undock the Switch and play it in handheld mode. 7 people, cool. Maybe stream is finally starting to pop off. I just jinxed it. 6 people now. Nintendo isn't even losing money from having their old games emulated. They're still a multi-billion-dollar corporation that makes money off their newer products. Here's the thing. I wouldn't care as much about Nintendo cracking down on emulation sites if they made a lot of their old games readily available for people. It seems like when it comes to that, the only consoles they care about are the NES, the Super Nintendo. And yes, those were popular consoles. A lot of gamers these days have a lot of nostalgia surrounding those two consoles. But god damn it, fucking finally put N64 games, GameCube games, Wii games on your online service. I mean, they're kind of doing that. They did it with the Mario collection. I know that's not their online service. It's just a bundle. It's just a bundle of games they were selling, but still, But god damn it, fucking release games from those three consoles on your online service. There is a huge demand for that, and I'm sure a lot of people would gladly shell out the $20 a year that your service costs just to be able to play those games, legally at least, on their Switch. I don't know why Nintendo just kind of neglects the N64 and the GameCube. I mean, I guess I kind of sort of do know they're not the best-selling Nintendo consoles, but still, it has some of the most, both of those consoles have some of the most iconic games Nintendo has ever put out. Like, besides Mario 64, it's like the N64 never existed to Nintendo. Hello, Video Bird. How you doing? What is your opinion on the Angry Video Game Nerd? It's alright. Not the biggest fan of the newer content, but once in a while I'll watch some of his stuff. Back to the emulation thing I was talking about. Like, I just really fucking wish Nintendo would let these games be readily available for their players, because then they would actually be justified in taking down these emulation sites, because, well, people are pirating their games and they have the full legal right to crack down on that, but they just don't provide any alternative to these emulation websites, and that's why so many people turn to emulation sites, well, especially when it comes to Nintendo games. You don't see a lot of that with the Xbox, at least I don't think, because Microsoft has always been so fucking good when it comes to backwards compatibility. You can play fucking OG Xbox games from 2001 on your Series X in the year 2021. If Nintendo had something like that, I mean, maybe they wouldn't be able to do like backwards compatibility to that extent with the Switch, but at least have a decent library of games from consoles like the N64, the GameCube. I mean, fuck, even the SNES and NES, they provide a piss poor amount of games on their online service from those two consoles. If they were actually competent when it comes to, providing these games for their players, they probably wouldn't have as big of an issue with emulation that they do now. It just doesn't. It just doesn't click with Nintendo. They'd rather just crack down on these emulation sites, provide virtually no way to play these games for their players, and then they just wonder why emulation is such a big fucking issue for them. I'm glad that I got a gaming desktop because I don't want to deal with Nintendo's shitty online service, but I don't think Nintendo won't care about N64, GameCube, Wii at all. Yeah. Luigi's Mansion, Kirby Air Ride, Sonic Adventure 2, Mario Party 4, all very iconic games. Yeah. And Nintendo, I guess, just expects you to shell out like $100 for an actual copy of those games, which, hey, I'm doing that. No shade thrown at anyone who's collecting those games and wants to have the real version of those games and play it on original hardware. But most people don't want to do that. Most people just want to be able to play these games without having to go through that headache. So they just emulate them. When did I stop watching AVGN? I never really stopped. I still do watch AVGN from time to time and James Rolfe's regular stuff from time to time. But I just don't watch AVGN as much as I used to. I used to watch AVGN a lot when I was like 12. That was when I used to watch his stuff and Nostalgia Critic stuff a lot. I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of newer AVGN, but newer Nostalgia Critic videos, oh god. Oh god. Especially that wall review. Still disgusted by that as a diehard Pink Floyd fan. Piracy is not an issue, and I couldn't give a fuck less about people pirating media. Favorite game in the Mother series? Mother 3. Can he be rich and a socialist at the same time? I'm assuming this is a reference to the Hassan drama that is going on right now. And for those of you who don't know, Hassan is a leftist. Well, I don't know about leftist. I don't know what he really considers himself. I think he considers himself a socialist, so I guess the leftist label is accurate. But recently, a socialist streamer known as Hassan or Hassanabi here on YouTube bought a $3 million house, and people have been melting the fuck down. People are saying he's not a real lefty because he has all this money and is buying this very expensive house. Here's the thing. He does not exploit anyone, at least not to my knowledge, in his line of work. All of his income comes from voluntary Twitch donations, or at least a huge portion of his income comes from voluntary Twitch donations. That is one of the most ethical ways of making money I can think of, in my mind at least. I don't know why people are mauling over this. Like, oh, wow, Hassan, a very popular streamer, gets donations out the ass every day, the 12 hours a day he streams. Like, who the fuck cares? He's not betraying anyone. He's not a quote-unquote fake lefty just because he has a lot of money. He advocates, I'm pretty sure, for higher taxes for himself. He understands that he is rich and he is willing to pay higher taxes for the benefit of society. It's not like he's hoarding his wealth. It's not like he's exploiting workers so he can make more money himself. It's not even like he's a corrupt billionaire. He's not even a fucking billionaire at all. It's worth, what, a couple of million? Like, I really don't like the idea among the online left that you have to be dirt poor in order to be a quote-unquote real lefty, because guess what? Real life doesn't work that way. You can be rich and still advocate for higher taxes for the rich. Still advocate for the benefit of society. Like, so many people on the online left, especially left Twitter, so fucking brain dead. Sorry, I don't like saying brain dead all that much, but I'm angry. Or at least not use brain dead as a pejorative. I'm not the biggest fan of that, but I'm mad, so it just slipped out. I'd rather save up my money for other stuff instead of paying that much money for video games. Well, right now, the stuff that I like paying for the most are video games. So, yeah. Piracy is not a black and white issue. It's mostly a gray area, and we have to take things case by case, pretty much. I mean, there is this one website, one emulation website that Nintendo cracked down on where the guy was actually profiting off of the games that were provided on that website. And yes, that is pretty fucked up. I mean, Nintendo is, of course, in their full legal right to go after that, but still, are they really losing that much profit off of people making a profit off of emulations of their really old games? Really not. It doesn't threaten them in the slightest. I mean, I don't agree with it, don't get me wrong, but still. New nostalgia critic is giga cringed, indeed. Being a millionaire isn't bad if it doesn't involve exploitation. There's no way to be a billionaire without exploitation. Exactly. We don't talk about nostalgia critic here. I stopped watching after a shitty attempt explaining the sexual assault allegations that was revealed to have been from Jew Wario. Yeah. The change the channel stuff really put a sour taste in my mouth when it comes to not only nostalgia critic, but Channel Awesome in general, and Doug Walker. For years and years on end, Doug Walker was seen as the golden child, the really nice guy that everyone loved, and then all of that was revealed, and yeah, I really can't watch even the old nostalgia critic videos without being reminded of that. And I like old nostalgia critic videos. I mean, a lot of people say nostalgia critic in general is cringe these days. It's cool to hate nostalgia critic, and most people hate them these days. But I will admit, I do like the old videos. I still watch them sometimes, and I usually watch either with ad block on or on fan channels that re-upload those old videos because I'd rather not have any money go go to Doug Walker's way or Channel Awesome's way from me. Sonolianic, you have no idea what socialism is. Wow. Rage Against the Machine or rich bands are socialists. Yeah, I believe so. I don't know exactly what their ideology is, but how they are socialists. Like, I'm tired of the idea that you can't be a socialist if you're rich, because there are plenty of rich people out there that are willing to pay higher taxes because they understand that, it would benefit society. Like, okay, sure, rally against billionaires because, like someone said in the chat earlier, you can't be a billionaire without exploiting people. But a millionaire, kind of a different story. I mean, yeah, you can't exploit people and be a millionaire, of course, but people like Hassan, like, I don't fucking understand it. The guy bought a $3 million house. Good for him. He's not exploiting people at all. He got most of his money off of voluntary donations from people online. What is the fucking issue? I have the same friends make Dougism memes as a joke. I don't know what that means. Do you still play on the Nintendo Switch? Barely. Gonna get Metroid Dread, definitely, and I do kind of want Skyward Sword HD because I never played the OG. I don't know when I'll get those games, though. I'm not like gonna run out and buy those games day one, but I definitely want to play those games eventually. EVGN went downhill as well. I don't know if he still does a lot of these videos, but I was still kind of watching him regularly around the time I stopped watching him regularly. He was doing a lot of these collaboration videos with like celebrities and stuff. Remember he did a video with what's the guy's name with the really, really annoying voice? He played the parrot on Aladdin. I forget. But he did a video with that guy. They're on like some safari trip or whatever. Was not a fan of that episode. And episodes like that. I used to watch Nostalgia Critic for a brief period, though I eventually stopped watching him because I found his character too screamy, childish, and annoying. And the newer skits were not my thing. Oh yeah, that's another thing. I really don't like the skits. Went way too over the top with those. That's why I prefer the older ones. The videos where all he did was just review or really just riff on a movie while sitting in front of a wall and not really much aside from that. Throwing jokes at a movie and nothing really more. I mean, maybe he would have one or two skits in the video, but that would be fine, whatever. But all the damn time, it just got so fucking obnoxious, and I just gave up on watching newer Nostalgia Critic videos at least years ago. The only guy I watch from Channel Awesome is Angry Joe. Is he still the Channel Awesome? I thought he left. Oh, I think you mean probably people who were with Channel Awesome at one point. I don't watch Angry Joe, though. I don't know if he counts, but he's not known for being on Channel Awesome, but he was with Channel Awesome years ago. Watch Amazing Atheist. I think he did a little review series for Channel Awesome for a brief period. I'm one of the few people that still watch him to this day. Rage Against the Machine are anarchists. Oh. Does anyone still watch the Video Game Nerd? Well, someone in the chat earlier does. To add on to my comment, this was before I changed the channel. When I found out about changing the channel, the things I learned from it cemented my decision to avoid NC and Channel Awesome entirely. Yeah, I try my best not to pay attention to what's been going on with Channel Awesome. I think I'm still subbed to them. I just kind of forgot all this time to unsubscribe. I have no clue who Bella Jank is. Who is that? Like a YouTuber or something? Oh, it's the girl that convinced Chris Chan to molest her mother. That girl. Pure fucking evil. Pure evil. And I don't say that about many humans. I mean, yeah, it's disgusting what Chris Chan did. No sane person would actually listen to someone when they say rape your mother, but you also kind of gotta shift a lot of blame to this woman who actually did convince her to do that. And also, on top of that, this woman apparently abused animals or still abuses animals. Is overall just a terrible, terrible person. Is a Nazi too, on top of all that. I didn't know her name though. I just knew that she convinced Chris Chan to rape her mom, and she wears glasses. I was gonna edit for TJ, but he's not a good communicator, so I ended up not editing for him. Did you actually approach him and ask him to if you wanted to, and ask if you could edit for him? I didn't know you did that. Hello, Devil Wolf. As bad as Chris Chan might be, her detractors are far worse than she is. They're the ones largely responsible for this shit happening. Oh, yeah. I really wish that this whole Chris Chan situation would open up a discussion really about how the internet treats mentally ill people in general. Because for 15, 16 years, Chris Chan went through all of this harassment, all of this stalking from these fucking randos on the internet. Again, I don't want to defend Chris Chan. Chris Chan is a fucking disgusting human being for what she did. But I'm sure a lot of the reason why she ended up being a disgusting human being is because of all these fucking people on the internet who egged her on all these years. They're about as responsible for what happened as she is. Or maybe almost as responsible for what she did as she is. Well, no, he offered it to me and I took it, but he was horrible with respond. Oh. I don't know. He got that offer. I thought he already had an editor. I thought it was his brother's wife that edited his videos. I remember them saying that at one point. I don't know if that's still the case, though. Because I know he doesn't edit the videos himself. Or at least not usually. I have a friend who also edited for him, and he told me the same thing about TJ. Well, that's unfortunate. Want to know the weirdest thing? Some say Chris Chan is a he. Some others say Chris Chan is a she. Probably not. No, Chris Chan is a trans woman. I don't think she's ever identified as non-binary. Mostly blame her parents for not disciplining Chris. Well, I guess the parents also play a factor. I don't know anything about Chris Chan's upbringing, so I can't really comment much on that, but maybe she did receive a lack of discipline. I'm not caught up on the Chris Chan lore, nor do I want to be. I watched a documentary back in 2017 about her. Felt like my mind was about to melt. I barely fucking remember anything because so much fucking shit happened. I first heard of her back when she pepper sprayed some GameStop employee, like back in 2013, 2014, sometime around there. Not scratching my ass, I had to scratch my back. But yeah, I can't imagine any bigger waste of time than spending like 15 years paying attention to some weirdo on the internet. And now that Chris Chan, I don't know if she's already in prison or is facing a lengthy prison sentence, but when she finally goes to prison, what the fuck are these people gonna do? Who are they gonna pay attention to next? Apparently, Chris Chan admitted that she transitioned to get in lesbian relationships. We'll still call her she, her, even if that's true, but it's still kind of a slimy thing to do. I always see people say that, and like their only sources are like these wiki websites made by trolls. But if she did point blank say that, I really don't care. I mean, it's fucked up of her to do that, but if you actually take HRT and go by she, her pronouns and have had gender dysphoria for like 10 years now, I think people have said she's been gender dysphoric until since going back at least until 2011. I think that is way more of a qualifier. That is more than enough of a qualifier that one is trans. More than enough of an indicator that someone is trans, I mean. At least the trans meds, at least. But no, really, if you're that committed to being trans, kind of sounds like you're actually trans. Like, certainly possible for someone to have dysphoria despite that. Yeah, and again, apparently she has had dysphoria going back to at least 2011. 10 years. 10 years she has been going by she, her pronouns. If it really was all a ruse, if it really was really only just to get into lesbian relationships, I'm sure she would have dropped it a long time ago and went back to he, him pronouns and identified herself as a male. But she has not done that. So I'm pretty sure she is actually trans. I'm pretty surprised by the reception my Chris Chan video received. I mean, it still got people within the Chris Chan community saying, no, Chris Chan is a man. But when it came to my audience, it went over exceptionally well. I even got some subscribers from that video. I was expecting a complete blowout like the Jimmy Dore video. Probably Bellows the next Chris Chan. I don't know. Should certainly be someone who deserves it, though. As little as I want to focus on the Chris Chan situation, I think having some lefty content creators focus on it is important because of the chuds covering the situation. Yeah. I mean, the Chris Chan community is certainly not the most progressive community out there. So I definitely like seeing more progressive people cover this whole situation and not use it as a means to demean trans people, because this is perfect ammo for right-wingers. It feeds into the narrative that trans people are predators, especially with the whole thing about Chris Chan only transitioning because she wants to get with lesbians. That supports the whole TERF argument too, I believe, because I think Turks have been saying for the longest time now that's why men transition into women, because they just want to be with other, they just want to be in lesbian relationships. I've no shit heard Turks say that, but yeah, anyone, you know, attempting to dispel all of that shit is welcome. Or attempting to counter all that shit is welcome. Hello, green boy. How are you doing? It's just very frustrating. Whenever a trans person does something awful, people don't focus on the crime itself, or don't focus on their horrible behavior and actions themselves. Themselves, it's whatever. Um, People don't focus on what they are actually supposed to focus on, but rather they focus on them being trans and just use it as ammo against trans people and say, "See, this one trans person is a predator, so all trans people are predators." And these are the same people who freak out whenever some, I don't even want to call them feminists because they're not really feminists, but freak out whenever some stupid person say all men are rapists. Sad thing about this is that it's a lose-lose for trans people, regardless of what person goes into, because regardless of what prison she goes into, because right-wingers will use it as a way to discriminate against trans people regardless. They don't actually care about the crime. They don't care about the awful behavior and the horrible actions. They just care about dunking on trans people, plain and simple. Yeah, Tucker Carlson using this story as a means to demean trans people and, you know, spread the sentiment that trans women should not go to women's prison because they're actually men. I just fucking hate this discourse so much. Feel bad for most of Chris Chan's victims. Is there more than one victim? I thought it was just the mother that she did this to. People need to stop making videos like Trans Predator because it implies that being trans makes you predatory. Blair White. Yeah, I've seen this video making rounds. By Blair White, I am disgusted. Chris Chan, in quotes, trans predator. Spreading around that anti-trans sentiment. Again, weaponizing the story and not just condemning Chris Chan for her awful actions, but just using this as a slam dunk against the trans community and spreading around transphobia, because that's all she fucking does. That's all she's fucking good for. Being the one good trans. You know, I used to have some dumb fucks I used to associate with saying, "I'm not transphobic because look at Blair White, she agrees with me." I think I've ragged on Blair White a lot in these streams, so I'm not going to go on too much of a rant on her because I think I've made my distaste for her more than clear. But still, very few content creators disgust me more than Blair White. Really. Like, imagine living a life like that. Imagine living a life as just a pawn for these kinds of bigoted people, like her, Candace Owens, Jesse Lee Peterson. You know, people spreading bad sentiment about the communities they are a part of just to make some bucks off of bigots, some grift bucks off of bigots. You know, Blair White. I don't hate trans people because Blair White agrees with me. I don't hate black people because Candace Owens agrees with me. I saw the beginning of that video where she summarized what happened, and she just ran off the camera after explaining it. Probably wet herself over it because of how excited it made. Wait, what? I assume you mean Blair White getting wet over being excited that this story is pretty much a Christmas present to her. Make some good views off of smearing the trans community and further cementing yourself as the one good trans. I've seen people unironically say that too. They don't say trans person, they just say the good trans when it comes to Blair White. Like you're talking about a fucking animal or something. Hello, TBH. Nachos, how you doing? Video like 2 years ago, something like that. I remember a lot of people being pissed off at me for that. Same with Paul Joseph Watson. I got into like a 30-minute argument with someone in my Discord server back when I uploaded a video about Paul Joseph Watson. Might go in like 5 minutes. Well, you're probably not gonna miss much because this stream is kind of dead. I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right. Not doing much. Just been streaming for 52 minutes now. God. Like, it's always surreal how fast time flies when I'm streaming. Like, really. I stream, and then I talk, and then before I know it, it's already like an hour goes by. Hi, Jonah Blob. How's today treating you? I'm waiting on the new Animal Crossing amiibo to arrive. Well, that's cool. I remember playing New Leaf years ago, around the time it released. I think I got it in 2014, a year after at least. But it was fun. I mean, I remember being kind of addicted to it for like a week, and then I just kind of forgot about it. Oh god, I dread booting up that game again and being completely scolded for neglecting my village for so long. Because I think that's what the game does. If you don't play it for a while, you get fucking chewed out for not for not paying attention to your village. But I would play New Horizons because here's a lot of great things about it and it's wildly popular. But I don't know, not really my thing. I'm more of a single player story campaign kind of guy. And I know Animal Crossing is single player, but it doesn't really follow a story. It's just you taking care of a village, pretty much. And no shade thrown to people who do like those kind of games, but yeah, it's not really my thing. Hello, Martin. You good? Well, that's good to know that you're good. Have you played Animal Crossing on the GameCube since you like GameCube games? I would. Maybe I would get it, but there's kind of a big problem with Animal Crossing and the game and my GameCube at least. To my understanding, Animal Crossing follows real time. Follows real time. Like if it's nighttime where you are, it's nighttime where in Animal Crossing's virtual world. And the problem with my GameCube is the clock, the internal clock inside of it does not work properly. Like I always have to manually change the date because a lot of the times when I boot the GameCube up, it's not the date. It's not it's not the date it really is in real life. Like say today, it's August 20th. The GameCube would still be in August 19th without me manually changing it, and it would probably be like nighttime, despite it being in the middle of the afternoon right now. So I'd rather not fuck with games that rely on the internal clock heavily for the GameCube. Are you going to try to play Ultimate Spider-Man now that you've played Spider-Man PS4? I don't know. I really want Miles Morales. I hear a lot of good things about Spider-Man 2. I might get that for the GameCube since it's for dirt cheap. But yeah. Oh shit, how did I not notice that? Thank you, Luna Starlight, for the $1. Any amount of money thrown at me is highly appreciated. Thank you for getting me just a little bit closer to that $100 threshold on AdSense, because unfortunately, I don't get your money right away. It takes a few days to process, and then it goes into AdSense, and I can't actually get the money until it reaches $100, and then Google finally pays me. I wish it did not work like that, but alas, YouTube and Google are shit. But thank you regardless. I highly, highly appreciate it. How did you get your GameCube? Well, I got this GameCube right here at GameStop years and years ago. I think for my 12th birthday, I got it. Because around 2013, I had a huge nostalgia trip when it came to the GameCube. And I did not want to play on the Wii. I really wanted that authentic experience. And back then, all I had were shitty licensed games. And then I got a GameCube for my 12th birthday. My mom got it from GameStop. For you, it was used, but it's still in great condition. Still works perfectly. I mean, it had some disc reading issues a few months ago, but I just very gently cleaned the lens with some alcohol wipes, and it was good to go. Haven't had any issues since. But back then, I thought I was going to commit to GameCube collecting, and I really regret not getting into GameCube collecting back then, because back in 2013, you could get like some of the most expensive GameCube games now for like $20. I got Wind Waker back then for like $20. And that's the only GameCube game I got back then. Well, no, that's a lie. I got Mario Party 4 back then, but I could not give a fuck less about Mario Party games. But yeah, I've had this GameCube for 8 years now. Around March of 2013, I got it. And maybe a little bit after that. I think it was a late birthday present. And I used it, loved it, and then it just sat in a closet for the next 6 years after 2014 because I booted up Wind Waker last year. I'm going to replay that game eventually. And it told me my last save was like April of 2014. It says that on the memory card screen as well. Some games tell you the exact date when you last saved. I like that. Some games say I last saved in like 2010, 2009. It's really cool seeing that. But yeah, this is not the GameCube I had as a kid. The GameCube I had as a kid was absolutely destroyed. I've told the story plenty of times, but if you specifically don't know, I'll keep it short and sweet. Used to eat waffles and pizza while playing the GameCube. My controller got all disgusting. The GameCube itself got all disgusting. And then one day the power button didn't work anymore. Got all sticky to the point where you couldn't even press it. So, yeah. I had to get a new one. But this one has served me well for a while now, and I hope it continues to serve me well for a long time to come. And I really hope that it does not break, because then I would have to get another one. And GameCubes these days cost like $100 or more. I got this game. My mom got this GameCube for like $15 in 2013. Oh, hey, you got streamer bucks. Yep, $1. Really swimming in that cash. Not to demean the person who sent me $1. No, I do appreciate it. We're just making a little innocent joke there. My GameCube is broke. Well, that sucks. All right, I'm gonna go now. Take care, y'all. Well, see ya, Guitar Rocker. My GameCube refuses to read memory cards in slot A, and that's a problem because some games require the memory card to be in slot A. In my experience, most games require you to play slot A. It's to the point where why do they even fucking bother making slot B? Because, okay, third-party developers not utilizing slot B. I mean, that sucks, but hey, whatever. But there are a lot of Nintendo first-party games made for the GameCube that only utilize slot A. I find that so stupid on Nintendo's part. Like, you have a console that has 2 memory card slots, and you make first-party games for your console, and you don't utilize the second memory card slot. Like, I find that so dumb. It is good that it still works. Yes, I'm so happy that it still works. I love playing it on the TV downstairs. For those of you who don't know, I got a new 60-inch TV, 65-inch actually, TV for my living room. 4K, 60 frames per second. Unfortunately, it doesn't have AV ports built into it, so I had to get an adapter so I can get it to work on the TV. But that adapter works like a dream. I can upscale it to 1080p, upscale the game I'm playing to 1080p, and it looks fucking great. Like, I was so surprised to see GameCube games run so smoothly on that TV, running fucking 60 frames per second on that TV. I usually play it at night, though. Well, I played the entirety of Resident Evil 4 on that TV because I was most excited to see how that game looks on that TV. I played it during the day and night, but usually I only play on my GameCube on that TV during the night, where I'm not bothered because everyone else is asleep. You've wanted a GameCube for a while now, yeah. I'm happy that it still works, though, because it was sitting in a closet for, again, like 6 years. Only took it out last year. This time last year, actually. Started collecting in August of 2020. But there are PlayStation games I want to get. Like I said, Miles Morales. I also want to get the Resident Evil 2 remake that released on the PS4 and play it on my PS5. I played the OG, finished it like 2 weeks ago. Really good game. Was not expecting much considering it originally released on the PS1, but I had a lot of fun. Really like the OG Resident Evil games. Love me some fixed camera angles and tank controls. Probably my favorite era of Resident Evil. I mean, I know 4 is my favorite Resident Evil game. I rave about that game all the time. I've replayed it endless amount of times, but aside from that game, action Resident Evil 4 really isn't my thing. I mean, I played 5, had a lot of fun. It was a good game on its own, but fucking sucked as a Resident Evil game. I don't hear many good things about 6, and it follows the same vein as 5. Very actiony and really doesn't focus on the horror at all. 7 and 8, I hear. Well, I know they're a huge return to form. Not just I hear it because I played those games. But I'm sure coming off the heels of 6, 7 was a godsend for the Resident Evil community when it released. But yeah, despite 4 being a third-person, half-action, half-horror game, being my favorite Resident Evil, I say the early games are probably my... When it comes to, like, a certain era of Resident Evil, probably my favorite. Do you watch Your Movie Sucks? Nope. Yo, Resident Evil 2 news. Oh yeah, you're referencing that one fellow that I'd rather not pay attention to. Evening, Dakota. As you can see, it's still right smack in the middle of afternoon where I am. Time zones have always fascinated me. Like sometimes when it's like in the middle of the night, like at 3 a.m, completely pitch dark outside, I like to look at the time in like places like Australia or other places that are in a completely different time zone, and see that it's right smack in the middle of the night for me, but it's afternoon for them in their part of the world. That's always fascinated me more than it really should. It's more bizarre on New Year's. Oh yeah, I love doing that the most on New Year's Eve. I like to see what parts of the world are already in the new year. All good, DJP. All good. Have you ever played Until Dawn? No, but I probably should. Hello, Flandre. How's today treating you? It's my yearly tradition to say hello from New Year to my American friends. Yeah, just flex that you're already in the new year, and your uncultured American friends are still in the previous year. Wasn't much of a flex in 2020. Yeah, I mean, 2020 had its fair share of awfulness. I mean, I'll still retain that before my grandma went to the hospital, 2020 really wasn't all that bad of a year. I mean, yeah, sure, current events were a complete shit show, but for my personal life, things really weren't that bad. Like, yeah, I mean, I had to quarantine, but that didn't really change my life dramatically because I'm a shut-in. I was a shut-in before COVID. It's just that I went out even less than I already did at that point. And, I got to spend time with my family. I mean, in a weird way, COVID was, I don't want to say a blessing because it's probably really disrespectful to any viewers who may have been affected by COVID, but been impacted by COVID. Maybe you lost family members or caught it yourself, but I'll say in a way, maybe the quarantine was kind of nice because I got to spend a lot of time with my grandma in her final months. And again, before all that happened, 2020 wasn't all that bad. Didn't change my life significantly, or at least didn't change my life in any negative way significantly. Yeah, it still hurts badly losing her. Almost a year now. Of all days, she died on September 11th, so the year anniversary is coming up. Already a year since all that panic and dread uh, surrounding her being in the hospital. Throughout most of August, she was fighting for her life on a ventilator. Hard for me to believe that all of my 16th year on Earth was in lockdown. I was 15 in March 2020, and now I'm 17. Well, my birthday's in March as well. Well, I don't think your birthday's in March. I think your birthday just passed recently. But my birthday was in March. I turned 19 in the midst of all the lockdown and panic. And my birthday that year in 2020 wasn't all that bad. It really wasn't all that much different from how my birthdays usually were in the recent years. Just have my immediate family sing happy birthday to me and have cake and open presents, and that was it. Aside from that, my birthday was just a normal day. In fact, this year, my birthday was pretty different because I had family over. We had kind of a big shebang over me turning 20. Hadn't had an actual party for my birthday since I was like 9 years old, or 10 actually. 2011 was the last time I had a party for my birthday, I think. All the years after that, besides 2021, we just kind of did stuff at home. Well, did stuff with my immediate family, I mean. Not make a big deal out of it. But yeah, my 19th birthday was the last one with my grandma. I remember it was just her and my mom singing happy birthday to me that year, and my uncles were just doing their own thing, I think. So I really just celebrated it with her and my mother, but that was fine. Didn't mind at all. Sad thing is, she was really excited to see me turn 20, and she didn't get to see that. But I'm done being morbid. I'd rather just talk about something else right now. Less than a month and a half until mine. Yeah, yours is in October. Kind of surreal to think it's been. Today is 5 months since I turned 20. Wow. I was gonna say, is it 5 months already? But no. My birthday is March 20th, and it's August 20th right now. So 5 months. Holy shit! 5 months of being 20 years old. Just oh my god, does time fly? October 2nd. Yeah, get to be born in spooky month. Thanks. Well, you're welcome, I guess. Better than a September birthday. I don't like September. I mean, maybe I don't hate it as much as I used to because September used to always be associated with going back to school, you know, the place I really didn't like being in at all after a certain point, having to deal with shitty teachers, shitty students. But I don't really relate to that anymore because I'm a college student now, and one, my college semester starts in August, but I just overall much prefer college over high school. And plus, college semester is just a few months, and school year is what, fucking September, October, November, December, January, February, March, April, May, June. 10 months. 10 months or 9 months. Probably did the math wrong. I don't know, but just overall, just way too long of having to deal with that shit. October, other than that, I love the general feel. Yeah, I mean, fall is all right. Fall has always kind of depressed me, though. At least here in New York, fall a lot of the times, gray skies, leaves on the ground. I don't like really all months I have my fair share of problems with. Summer, way too hot, especially this month. Had a lot of days in the high 90s. It's also really bad in June and July, but this month has been pretty bad. Um, Fall, what I just mentioned. Winter, snow. Gotta fucking shovel all that shit. Not fun at all. If spring, my least favorite month. Allergies. Pollen really kicks my ass. My mouth, the roof of my mouth gets itchy. My eyes get itchy. 2020, I didn't get it as bad, and I kind of attributed that to the pandemic because I wasn't going out at all. But this month, this year wasn't really all that different. I was still taking all my classes virtually, and I was still getting my ass kicked by pollen. So maybe pollen count wasn't so bad last year. I don't know, but this year it was terrible. Why did Siri go off? What the fuck? Speaking of school, can you rant on teachers who let bullies get off scot-free and good kids get in trouble? I thought I already talked about something like that. Maybe. Uh, maybe I'll make a video like that. I've been thinking about making a school rant about back-to-school commercials because those always pissed me off when I was still going to school. But maybe it'll be the September edition of school rants, ranting on teachers who punish the good kids while it's only like a small handful of kids causing trouble. I'm still in high school and I go back August 31st. Ugh. Ugh. Well, I don't know if high school sucks for you, but if it does, I'm very sorry. Hopefully it's your last year. I was very happy when my last year of high school began, not because I was looking forward to, the same like 9 months of having to deal with shitty teachers and shitty students, but I was just happy that I was at the home stretch. It was finally going to come to an end after this year, and I was happy to finally make it to the final year and just get high school the fuck over with. I remember people were telling me, oh, you're going to miss high school. When you're in college, you're really going to miss high school. I don't feel it at all. I much prefer college over high school. Just love the atmosphere more, especially when I was actually going to college. Just it felt like such a breath of fresh air after 4 years of high school. The students were actually mature because there were quite a few students who were way older than me, like middle-aged people. The professors weren't screaming at kids, scolding them all the time because they're college professors, not high school teachers. They don't have any of that shit in college. God damn, I'm hairy. Look even hairier on the camera than I do in real life. I would read your message, DJP, but I don't want Siri to go crazy on my computer. Half of people hate high school, the other half misses high school. I guess. Everyone I know doesn't miss high school at all. You hated middle school. Middle school was okay. Yeah, it had its share of dumbasses, but it's middle school. What do you expect? But middle school was fun for me. Want to know what I never liked? Field day. field day was always in June, always just hot as fucking hell whenever we had it. And plus, you know me, very bad anxiety. I didn't really go up to people during field day. I mean, I think like one time during field day when I was in high school, I hung out with a small group of friends, but that was really it. But for the most part, it was just me kind of wandering around, not doing much, sweating my ass off. I remember not going to field day in freshman year of high school. Just completely missed out on it because I didn't really want to go. And I went in 10th grade, kind of miserable. I didn't do much. And 11th grade, I did hang out with a group of friends. It's kind of fun. And 12th grade, I did the same thing like I did in freshman year. Just completely miss out. Didn't want to go. Stayed home that day. Field day was always in May for me. Well, I think you finished school in May, right? For me, it was in June because that was the last month of school. I don't think I mentioned this in Discord or definitely not in any of my videos, but originally I had a class this semester that was going to be on campus, but it changed to a virtual class. Ugh, another semester completely online. Fun. Not really. I don't think field day was that bad. Well, maybe not for you, but field day wasn't that great for me. Was field day the day the kids played and eat ice cream from a truck? Well, maybe that's field day for you, but we didn't have an ice cream truck for mine. We just had ices that were from a freezer. Just had a class get canceled on me today. Oh, wow. Which class was that? Never had a class like outright canceled on me. But yeah, I mean, I'll be lying if I said I was looking forward to waking up at 6 o'clock in the morning again and having to catch the bus to go to college. But still, I did miss that human interaction. I did miss actually going to campus because it was a nice atmosphere, like I said earlier. You know, I got to hang out with some people in the cafeteria. I would sit there for an hour in between my class and in between my classes, and sometimes a friend from high school would be there, and we would talk for like an hour, and then he would have to go to his class, and I would wait for mine to start. It was nice. It's really nice, but I don't. None of that happens now because I'm not going to campus anymore. You're heading into 10th grade. Oh, still got 2 more years ahead of you. Damn. Or really 3 if you count the grade you're heading to now. The movie Neighbors is about 30 somethings acting like they're 16 through 22. Aren't there a lot of movies that have a similar premise to that? I mean, I know there are movies like Freaky Friday, where the adult literally enters the body of like what, a 15-year-old. I mean, you see that a lot in real life too. You see people act like they're way younger than they really are. But you know what? That's not entirely a bad thing, right? Talking about the whole, yeah, dude, let's party thing. Yeah, I know. Damn, it was an in-person class too. So was that the only in-person class you were going to have? And now your semester is going to be all online? As if so, that sucks. It really sucks. I had a professor last semester. He was up front. It was my English professor. He told me and the whole class. A lot of professors will say that they're concerned about COVID and use that as a justification to keep their classes online. But in reality, they just want to stay home. They like the convenience of just, conducting class through a computer in the comfort of their own home. And that's why a lot of them still choose to keep their classes virtual, which I don't really blame them. I do like the comfort of, taking all of my classes in bed, you know, and not having to go anywhere, but I do miss going to campus. Like I've made pretty damn clear on this stream already. And you have the Delta variant now to worry about. And I'm just kind of worried that we're gonna see yet another round of lockdowns because infection rate is not going down at all. In fact, quite the opposite. We're seeing infection rates fucking skyrocket in this country, especially in unvaccinated states. But even in New York, there's still quite a bit of people getting infected. See ya, nachos. My only in-person class is every Wednesday at 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Pretty similar to the only in-person class I was going to have. That was one of my English classes. I'm taking more than one English class this semester. It was going to be on... Was it actually going to be on Wednesdays? Probably exactly the same, actually. Look at my schedule real quick. Oh, fucking CUNY website sucks ass. Come on, load up. There we go. No, it's going to be on Tuesdays. I would have had to go in on Tuesday to my in-person class. But my earliest day is on Wednesday now. To wake up at like 9:30 for my English class. From 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. on Wednesday. That I'm not looking forward to. For the past year now, I've been waking up every day at like 1 in the afternoon, and I would take classes that are in the afternoon, but now I have one day where I actually have to get up early. Well, that's not true. I've had days where I had class at like 12 in the afternoon, but that wasn't so bad. I had to wake up at 11. Still kind of sort of miserable because it's still a little early for me, but it was doable. But this is like 9:30. It's only one day a week, and all my other classes are in the afternoon. And one class I have is asynchronous, meaning I don't have to tune into a lecture. So it's not that bad. Remember homeroom, the elementary homeroom where you and all other kids stand in line to go to the next class? For me, I didn't have homeroom in elementary school. I had it in middle school. And all that was just sitting at our desks for like 10 to 15 minutes waiting for the first class to start. And we would also have homeroom at the very end of the day after all of our classes are done, but that was just 5 minutes of sitting at our waiting for the teacher to dismiss us. It was really just a room where we kept all of our coats and other stuff. Hung it in there. And at the beginning of the day, we would hang our coats or put away other stuff we don't need for the day. And then for homeroom at the end of the day, we retrieve it. I actually kind of missed that when I was in high school because when I was in high school, I just wore my coat all day because I couldn't put it anywhere else. The only thing that's nice is now I don't have to worry about waking up late on Tuesday now because that was when the other in-person class I had got canceled. I see. Well, I don't know if this is going to be the very last semester where everything is online. It really depends on what happens with COVID and all that. Depends on how bad things get in the fall and winter. But I kind of do hope that things kind of sort of do get back to normal next semester. Hopefully. Maybe I'm putting a little too much faith in humanity right now. Because, this world, all the unvaccinated dipshits. Maybe I shouldn't get into all that right now. I think that said class got canceled because not enough people signed up for it. I don't remember a lot of people signing up for it and saw like 3 people in. Damn. What kind of class was it? It's been pretty uninteresting if not a lot of people signed for it. I do really like the freedom that comes with college. You get to pick what time your classes are and what classes you take a semester. I mean, there are mandatory classes. Don't get me wrong, but you can choose, like at least in my college, what semester to take those classes in. Like for me, the first semester I got the classes I really didn't want to take over with, like the math class I had to take and the speech class I had to take, class where you have to go in front of the whole class and, talk. Fucking hated that. So I just wanted to get that one over with the first semester and never have to take another class like that again. Because only one speech class is mandatory for me where I am. And one math class since I'm not a math major. I was offered to take another speech class this semester by my advisor, but I was like, fuck no. Fuck no. Maybe it would have been a little bit better since that class probably would have been virtual, but still, no. No, thank you. It was a class I had to retake to get my GPA back up and to pass it. It was an intro to computer class I kept forgetting to do online. There's an in-person option, and that was it. So what now? Are you going to take that class the semester after this following one, since that's kind of a compulsory class that you have to take to get your GPA back up? They gave me the exact class to go to now after enrolling in. Oh, I see. For me, the semester starts this Monday, 23rd. I was kind of enjoying my break. These breaks go by way too quickly. It seems long at first. When I first went on break in May, I was like, oh wow, I don't have to go back. I don't have to take classes until late August. Holy shit, this is Pog. And then before you know it, it's late August and classes are on the horizon again. Whatever, the semester always goes by pretty quickly for me. I begin the semester, and before I know it, the semester is already about to end. I remember in middle school, I would actually kind of look forward to the school year starting because I would be so bored by the time like my summer vacation was ending because, you know, at first summer vacation sounds really cool. Wow, I get to just stay at home and play video games all day, stay up at night, very very late, and then that just kind of wears off. All the excitement surrounding that just kind of wears off after like a month or two of doing that. And then you're just like, I kind of want to do something different. I kind of want to actually go back to school and like interact with people again. But then I'm like in the middle of the school year, just yearn for summer vacation to come back. I think I should strategize how I use my Wednesdays, like staying at college for a few hours to do some of my other classes that are online there. Yeah, probably. That'd be a good idea. Asynchronous classes have always been kind of my weakness, and I have one this semester. I'm gonna try to stay on top of that, but it's so easy just kind of fall off and not pay attention to those kind of classes because you're not tuning into any sort of lecture. So for me at least, like I don't really pay attention to the consequence. I'm not really paying attention to that class so much because it's not like you really have a professor that's, you know, that you see on a regular basis. So you don't really feel enough. You don't really have that discipline of keeping up on things because you don't have a professor to. Well, you do have a professor to turn those papers into you, but you don't have a professor constantly reminding you of due dates and things like that, like you would if you were taking that class in person. I had one asynchronous class last semester. It was yoga. Uh, Took yoga because that was just an easy grade. I needed a class to fill up. I was taking a certain amount of credits and I needed another class to in order to attain a certain amount of credits. So I just chose yoga because I knew that would be an easy, good grade, and I got an A. So yeah. That was my second yoga class. I took a yoga class in the spring semester 2020, the semester where everything went to lockdown. It was really nice actually. I didn't have high hopes for that class at first. I was like, yoga. Not really looking forward to that all too much. Kind of embarrassing to be honest. I was kind of embarrassed to take it at first. I needed a physical education class, and originally I was going to take the badminton class because I loved badminton a lot in high school, but that class filled up really quickly, and I couldn't take it. I wasn't able to get a spot in it in time, and there were other classes that were really physically demanding that I knew I would not do well in. But then there was yoga, so I was like, it's either take yoga or one of those other classes. So I just went with yoga, and it was a very calming class. I mean, I know it's yoga. Yoga is inherently very calming, and it's not really a surprise to anyone. But it went over way better than I thought it would originally, and I really liked it. Very, very relaxing. It ended up being my favorite class, at least until everything went in lockdown. And then I had to do yoga virtually, or really just pretend I was doing yoga. All I had to do was just type in how my yoga session went, and I would just make shit up, and I ended up getting a good grade in that class anyway. I also had to write a paper too about like certain chakras and things like that, whatever they call it in yoga, and I got a pretty good grade on that in the end. And I did something similar with my second yoga class, yoga 2 they called it. Just make shit up about my yoga session that I never actually did, and send that in. And I mean, she doesn't really grade the quality of the work. She just kind of graded based on if we did it or not, based on if we wrote and submitted anything, I mean, or not. In order to go to my next college for my bachelor's degree, if I wish, I have to take a summer semester in 2022, and that'll be my last semester for my associate's degree. Oh God, I say good luck. Um, I took a summer class, as you probably know at this point. I took a summer class in summer of 2019. It was a math class because I failed a placement exam. Oh my God, hated that class so much. Maybe it won't be the same for you. That was kind of a summer start program. It wasn't really the same as like an actual college semester class during the summer, because I had to stay there from like like 9 in the morning to 3 afternoon. Think of it as like a high school day, but just you're taking one class in one subject. So I don't think what you're gonna do is this exactly the same thing, because if you take like a regular college course during the summer, I think it's just like an hour or two taking that class. I don't know, but all I know is summer classes is something I'm never gonna fucking do again. I avoided summer classes in all my time in middle school and high school. Just barely too. I mean, summer classes really kicked my ass. Summer classes, math classes really kicked my ass in middle school and high school, and I was very close to failing a bunch of times when it came to math. But I ended up just barely passing in the end, and I didn't have to take a summer class for math. Thank fucking God. Hello, Arnett. How are you doing? Wonder if I could get away with my iPad Air for most classes. I probably could, though some have to be on a desktop. Why would you get in trouble for using an iPad Air in class? I mean, I don't know how it works in your college, but students with disabilities could like sign up for to take sign up for taking notes on like an iPad or a laptop. I saw that a lot when I was actually going to classes in person. I would see people taking their notes on a MacBook or an iPad. I think you get a special accommodations card to show to your professor. I never qualified for that because I never really needed anything like that in high school. And the only qualification to get special accommodations like that is if you got those accommodations in high school, and I didn't. I never needed them. Like, say in high school you needed extra time on exams because you just took longer to take exams compared to other students. You would get those same accommodations if you applied for it in college, if you had that in high school. At least that's how it works over here in New York. You're all good? Well, that's good to hear, Arnett. I'm doing all right as well. Been streaming for the past hour and 45 minutes. Whoa. Whoa. We will end the stream in like 20 minutes. I've seen people try to see if they could use an iPad instead of a laptop for college or just for other uses. I still have my laptop I have, regardless if that fails. Well, hopefully it doesn't, as an iPad is certainly more convenient to carry around than a laptop. I tried taking my laptop once to college, my MacBook Pro that I'm using right now to stream. I mean, only did it once because I really didn't need it. I tried to get work done while on my break, but no internet. Thought maybe you were free to like sign up. You were free to connect to the college's internet without a password or anything, but you needed a password. You had to go to the electronics department or whatever the fuck it was in order to get the Wi-Fi password and all that. Didn't feel like going through all that trouble. I really didn't need to do all my work during break anyway, because I had all the time of the world home to do all my work, so never bothered taking my laptop with me to college campus ever again after that. Mostly use my laptop for ebooks and to do assignments, of course. I see. One person left watching. Wow. Yeah, dead stream. Damn rip, yeah. My streams are very hit or miss. Like there were some times where my stream is like 15 people throughout all of them. The chat is very active, and then there are other times that there's only like 2 people watching throughout. Whatever. Gonna end this soon anyway. Maybe a little bit sooner than I thought. Speaking of college, I got a text from my college just 39 minutes ago. You're scheduled to take an in-person and/or hybrid course. You must take these time-sensitive actions before coming to campus. And I'm assuming that, yeah, it's telling students that they have to show proof of vaccination if they're going back to campus. But that's not going to be me because I'm going to have yet another semester of all online classes. I'm not the biggest fan of that, but whatever. Did kind of consider waiting until next year for a MacBook Air, like the mid 2022 ones. Yeah, whatever you want to do, I guess. The other day, I got a Metro card. Don't need it for anything because I'm not gonna be going anywhere, but you never know. Maybe it'll be handy to have in case I have to go out for other reasons. I'm not gonna be using this for college because again, I'm not gonna be going to campus. So, yeah. Hey, 2 people joined. But this MacBook Pro has served me well. It's going to be almost 2 years since I got this. I got it in August of 2019, I think. Something like that. Somewhere around that time. Got it like a week after my first semester of college started. Really, really thankful I got this thing because it has definitely served me well throughout this pandemic. I didn't think I would be in such dire need of a MacBook Pro when I first got it because no one was expecting this pandemic to happen. Because the laptop I had before this, we still have it, but it's hardly ever touched anymore. But laptop I did have was a very cheap HP laptop. It was hardly functional. Got it back in like 2014, I think. Came with Windows 8. Hated Windows 8 a lot. Has Windows 10 on it now, which was a marginal improvement, I guess, but no need to go back to that piece of garbage now that I have a MacBook Pro. Again, I've been very happy with it for the past 2 years. When that was my only laptop of choice to use, I barely used it because, again, it was like hardly usable at all. It was so fucking laggy. Had a bunch of problems because it was a very cheap machine. I think the new MacBook Pros are coming out within a couple of months, probably. Don't those release on like a yearly basis, something like that? Well, I know for a fact the new iPhones are coming out in a few months because they always come out in like fall. Definitely getting a 13, or almost definitely getting a 13. Probably a regular model because I'm assuming it's going to be the 13, the 13 Pro, the 13, whatever the fuck else to come out with. But also the bigger versions, the Max versions, never needed big ass phones. I know my uncle downstairs. He has I don't know which iPhone he has. I think he has the 10, and it's the bigger version of the 10, the 10 Max. But he kind of sort of actually like needs those for like medical reasons. His eyes are not very good. Whatever the fuck it's called. Apple's very weird with names. XS Max, whatever. It's a bigger version of a 10. That's all I know. I don't know if I'll get like a 13 Pro or try a mini. Well, mini definitely no. I'm a big hand, so minis would not be good for me. But I don't know if I'll go with a Pro. I mean, me and my mom are gonna we're under the same plan, so we're gonna upgrade our phones on the same time. That's what we did last time when she got an 11 herself and I got an 11 as well. She got hers like a few weeks before me. When my iPhone 6 turned on again after 3 years of being broken, or at least so we thought, I was like, damn, how the fuck did I use this thing back then? Like the shit battery aside, just the bezels and the home button, it was so weird to go back to. And the smaller screen. I mean, the 10 was kind of weird to not the 10, the 11 was kind of weird to adjust to at first. But it took like a few days and that was it. And then I was completely used to having no bezels and no home button. I really like it. Much prefer my phones being this way these days. Still have to turn Wi-Fi on and off at times on this phone. Same with cellular. I don't know if it's a Verizon thing or not. I don't know. Never had that kind of problem with my phone. And kind of a toss up to upgrade yearly or attempt at keeping a phone for longer. Well, for me, it's every 2 years. That's the plan me and my mom are under, which is perfect for me. I mean, it's not too often, but it's not too terribly long either. I never ever try to use my phone to keep my phone until Apple doesn't support it anymore, like I did with my iPhone 6, because that thing was just unusable at the very end. Again, I tried using it when it turned back on, and like bezels and home screen, a smaller screen and a home button aside, the battery was not good anymore. It would only last for 20 minutes and then it would die. So that phone was on its legs when it first died. Well, not really died, but I don't know. The battery is just completely fucked, and I'd rather not use these phones until that point anymore. I don't know if an 11 would do that. It has a much better, well, definitely has a much better battery than a 6 does, but still. Yeah, holy shit is right. It at the very end, it barely lasted a school day. I had to really conserve the battery on it. Like it would be lunchtime, and I did not have lunch that late in the day, like late in the morning, I think, like 10:30, 11, something like that. I'd be on lunch break, and the phone was already down to like 40%. And by the time I would get home, the phone was nearly dead. But yeah, I'm probably gonna get a 13. Don't want to fuck with don't want to fuck with the same phone for longer than 2 years now. I've learned my lesson with the iPhone 6. In a way, I'm kind of glad that that phone did kick the bucket, because had I just, you know, kept the phone for like 2 years and then upgraded it, I definitely wouldn't have it anymore, because I would have turned it into my service provider, like I'm going to do with the 6, and like I did with my 8. Like I'm going to do with the 11, and like what I did with my 8. Because that phone, it was my first cell phone, has a lot of memories attached to it. I mean, the memory on it is wiped because the Apple Store tried to do everything they could to get it to turn on again. They tried restoring it. They did a lot of things to try to get it up and running again, but to no avail. So it didn't have all the pictures and videos and stuff I had on it, or any of the stuff that I may have still had on iMovie or the other app I used, whatever it was called, to make videos back then. But it was still very nice to be able to use that thing again. Took me back to 2014, 2015, 2016, 2017, all the years I used that thing. You're back. Well, I'm gonna end the stream in like 2 minutes. Watch. This is when everyone's gonna come flowing in. This is when the stream is gonna start popping off when I end it. I think like 2 or 3 years ago that happened. It was a mostly dead stream, and then when I was about to end it, all of a sudden, 13 people in the stream, very active chat, and I was already burnt out, and I just wanted to leave already. Well, I'm sorry to hear about your grandpa. That's very unfortunate. Well, my Mac is telling me that it's about to die, and I need to charge it now, which is probably a good indicator that I should end the stream now. Well, disappointing stream, I'll be honest. Whatever, but it happens. Maybe next stream will be more lively. Hopefully, it seems like 1 month I do a stream, it's very dead. The next month I do a stream, it's very active. But still, those of you who are here and watching, thank you very much, especially to those who are writing in the chat and keeping things a little lively throughout this whole time. And thank you to all who are watching earlier, who are not here now. I didn't expect to go the full 2 hours, but hey, I did it. Very, very dedicated, I know. But yeah, this was kind of fun, kind of boring, but again, maybe better luck next time. Yeah, I shouldn't be too sour because as long as I had some people interacting in the chat, I should be happy. But yeah, anyway, thank you for tuning in, and I'm heading out now. See ya.